A Sketch in Vedic India, Chapter 1, Journey to India. Albert and Steffi Boder got off their Uber at the SFO International Airport. While Albert was removing the suitcases from the car, Steffi quickly brought a trolley after paying the requisite money. They placed the luggage in the trolley and moved toward the Emirates check-in counter. It appears that the weight of our luggage is more than the allowed amount. Are you prepared to pay for the extra weight, Albert? Asked Steffi. Well, I don't know how long I would stay there, so I have to pack all the required items. I will pay if necessary, replied Albert, moving ahead in the queue. Hope you have put Swami Parameswarananda's letters in the hand baggage properly, Steffi inquired while walking along with him. Emirates accepted the luggage without any extra charge. After collecting the boarding pass, both of them sat in the pre security check lounge as there is still plenty of time left for boarding to begin. They always enjoyed having a cup of coffee at Joe's Cafe, located just in front of the security check. Albert got black for himself and cappuccino for Steffi, just the way she likes. Do you think that you would get answers to all of your questions on this trip to India? Asked Steffi while sipping coffee. I don't know, but it is very clear to me that what I am searching for is not available in any book. I am hoping that great persons who recognize the truth must be able to answer my questions. I will be in search of the great people who could answer the questions about my father. I do not plan to come back without getting satisfactory answers to my questions, no matter the extent of troubles I may encounter, said Alfred in an emotional tone. Seeing tears in his eyes, Steffi also felt the same way and placed her hand on his, conveying her sympathy. You know that my mother's poor health is the reason for my anxiety of late. Otherwise, I would have accompanied you, she said. I understand. I prefer to go alone anyway, and that is why I did not insist on you joining me, replied Albert. He held Steffi's hand firmly for a brief while, then picked up the hand baggage and moved towards the security check. He felt relaxed after settling down in his assigned flight seat after finishing the security check. His heart is filled with a sense of satisfaction that at last he was moving towards his cherished decade long wish. While the plane is racing towards India, his mind slowly drifts into the past. Albert is David and Nancy's only child. In a brief spell of a few years, destiny took them through many twists and turns. David became an officer in the US military at a young age. His first overseas deployment was the Iraq War, but he suffered a major injury in the action and was forced to return to US shortly after. Nancy was working as a nurse in the same hospital where David was treated for his injuries. Their acquaintance during that time eventually culminated in their marriage. The injury left David with a serious physical handicap, resulting in early retirement from the army. He took a job in a private security services company to support himself and Nancy. Within a year of their marriage, Albert was born. Just before turning 3, Albert lost his mother in a freak accident. In the very hospital premises where she worked, a visitor in an inebriated state hit her while reversing his car. Though she was immediately admitted to the hospital, she succumbed to the injuries the next day. For Albert, it was as if he never had a mother. She was gone before he could form any lasting memories of her. Following his wife's death, David and Albert moved into a house next to Nancy's mother, Dora. Whenever he was not around, he would leave Albert with her. Stephen, Dora's current husband, is Nancy's stepdad. Dora married him after divorcing Nancy's father when Nancy was about 8 years old. From the start, Stephen was very indifferent toward Albert. He was highly irritated whenever Albert cried. Probably it was the effect of alcohol. Dora, though wanted to, could not attend to Albert a whole lot due to her preoccupation with Stephen. On weekdays, David would leave Albert in the preschool on his way to the office and pick him up the way back. If for any reason he was delayed at the office, then he would request Dora to do the pickup. Dora often failed to pick Albert on time, prompting the preschool management to issue multiple warnings. One particular incident brought important changes in the lives of both the son and the father. That day, David, as he did on many previous occasions, called Dora to pick up Albert from the preschool. He had to visit some customers after the regular office hours. Stephen proved to be particularly troublesome that day by being more drunk than usual. Dora, while attending to him, completely forgot about David and his request to pick up Albert. David came straight to Dora's house, expecting to find Albert there. Realizing Albert's absence, David rushed to the preschool. He found Albert sitting in the school corridor all alone. Albert, on seeing David, leapt to embrace him. David's heart broke seeing the fear and agony in Albert's innocent eyes. He was consumed with grief. Once his grief subsided, he was irate with the preschool staff for leaving Albert alone. He decided to file a complaint against the staff's negligence. Before he could act on it, he received a phone call from one of the preschool employees profusely apologizing for her actions. She seemed remorseful, and given that she would lose her job if he made the complaint, David decided to let the incident go. However, the incident made him reflect on his current situation and his arrangement with Dora. He concluded that he could no longer depend on Dora. As he was searching for a way out of this predicament, Father Francis came to his mind. On Sundays and many weekday evenings, David would visit the local Trinity Church along with Albert and spend time alone with Father Francis after the prayers. He shared his concerns and listened to any advice Father Francis had for him. That evening, too, he discussed the problem of Albert's preschool with the father. Father Francis solved both the problems with a simple suggestion. He suggested that David should enroll Albert in the foster home being run by the church. The foster home is meant to support children whose parents are divorced or separated. Boys and girls under the age of 18 could join the foster home and they would take care of all the expenses of the child. Father Francis assured David that he could come daily and spend time with Albert. This arrangement solved David's problem. He visited Albert on most evenings to spend time with him and to help him with his homework. He would bring Albert's favorite snack food from either Taco Bell or McDonald's. Albert would wait with great anticipation to spend time with his father every evening. David and Albert would enjoy many activities together like football, running, and even cycling once Albert grew up a little. During the weekends, he would take him home for lunch and cook Albert's favorite dishes. In the evenings, he would take him to the lighthouse on the beach or the observatory on the hilltop. Playing with his father on the beach was Albert's most favorite. The routine went off without a hitch until Albert was 8 years old. During that time, Nancy's memories faded and David became friendly with Julia, who was working at one of his clients' firms. Once David started dating Julia, he had to skip visiting Albert on Sundays. On the following days, David would notice Albert's disappointment from his absence, though Albert never voiced it explicitly. Father Francis would tell him how Albert would go to the gate several times with the anticipation of seeing his father. All this made David feel very guilty. He thought that the problem could be solved if Albert accepts Julia in their lives. With that in mind, he asked Julia to accompany him to the church. He introduced her to Albert. Julia tried to be friendly with Albert, but Albert did not reciprocate. Albert understood the relationship between his father and Julia and was terrified that his father would stop visiting him. David understood Albert's feelings and blamed himself for the situation. David wanted to give another try to bring them both together. He requested Julia to visit Albert again. However, Julia did not show much interest and he had to drop the proposal. He analyzed his situation and realized that continuing his relationship with Julia would only hurt Albert even further. He thought that keeping Albert happy is more important than the problem of his loneliness. Once he made the decision, there was no difficulty in breaking his relationship with Julia. When he broke the news to Julia, she hardly had any reaction. Albert, however, was elated and that made him feel that he made the right decision.